Thanks everyone for joining. This is our March 14th regular Board of Education meeting here at Old Village School. Thank you to the team for setting us up. As always, really appreciate it. If you would all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Again, welcome, and thank you to the team. Dr. Campbell-Boytel, would you lead us in roll call,
I
please?
would be happy to. President Lindsay Wilson.
I am here.
Vice President Sarah Prescott. Acting her momentarily. Treasurer Lisa McInerney. Here. Trustee James Mazurk is excused. Trustee Karen Meyer. Here. Trustee Melissa Stewart. Here. And Secretary, myself, Dr. Campbell-Boytel. I am here also. You have a phone.
Thank you so much. That brings us to agenda item number 4, I believe, or the adoption of our agenda. Dr. Campbell-Boytel, would you please present that?
Yes, I bring motion 87 that the agenda be adopted as presented. Support.
So I have a motion properly presented by Dr. Campbell-Boytel and supported by Ms. McIntyre. Have we all had a chance to look at the agenda? Any discussion necessary? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So that motion passes. Thank you so much. That brings us to number 5, consent resolutions. Again, Dr. Campbell-Boytel, if you wouldn't mind presenting that one.
Yes. I would like to bring motion 88 that the board accept the consent agenda items for approval as follows. 5A, minutes of the February 28th, 2023 Board of Ed meeting. 5B, overnight and or out-of-state field trip requests. 5B1, NHS Boys Golf Tournament in Roscommon, Michigan from May 4th through 5th, 2023. 5B2, NHS Boys Golf Tournament in Grand Haven, Michigan from April 27th through 28th. 5B3, NHS Boys Golf Tournament in Allendale, Michigan from June 8th through 10th, 2023. 5B4, Middle School Bronco Bus FTC Robotics Competition in Houston, Texas from April 18th through 21st, 2023. And finally, 5B5, NHS HOSA State Competition in Grand Traverse, Michigan from April 26th through the 29th. 5C, limited open enrollment under section 105 and 105C schools of choice for the 2023-24 school year. With 3 attachments, do I read attachments?
I don't think that's absolutely.
Oh, okay. 5D, bill warrants totaling $1,538,983.15. Support.
Thank you so much again. So these are our consent resolutions. These, for folks in the public here who might be listening in, these are issues, agenda items that we have all had sufficient background information on. We've discussed them in some cases at subcommittee, or we've had them in the minutes and had a chance to reflect on those. Any discussion necessary on these consent items? So all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Actually, I take that back. So I have a motion properly presented by Dr. Campbell-Boytel and supported by Ms. McIntyre. Any discussion necessary? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So that motion passes. Thank you so much. And that brings us to number 6 on our agenda, communications. Again, Dr. Campbell-Boytel.
Yes, we have had multiple communications to npsboe@northvilleschools.org, and we have also received the monthly report for February from the Northville Youth Network program.
Thank you so much. Will we have an NYN presentation at some point soon? I thought we'd kind of discussed that.
Committee of the whole.
Committee of the whole, okay. That brings us to number 7 on our agenda, our superintendent's report. Dr. Weber.
Thank you, President Wilson. I know we have a number of ABCD awards, and really do want to get to those, but a few things, and we also do for the public have closed session tonight after, so I want to make sure we get into that. So the bond, of course, is May 2nd. Exceptionally grateful to everybody on the team, and when I say everybody, it's everyone around this table, folks over here. We spent time at PTA meetings and evenings, weekend events, different events. We had our high school open house on Sunday. I know Miss Peck and Miss Campbell-Boytel, Dr. Campbell-Boytel were there helping with that. I see we have a parent in the group. I read a Facebook post from your experience at the high school. Thank you that day. I thought it was wonderful. 125 total families, over 300 folks showed up on Sunday, which is our best year yet. I'd like to think that that has something to do with the outstanding communications work from Miss Peck and Miss Rohr. But to see our whole team there and part of that was wonderful. And then night for Northville was Saturday. It was a lot of fun and just really the turnout was great. And thanks to the NEF for caring and supporting about our kids the way they do. You'll start to see more and more bond information out there. Please never hesitate to either get a hold of myself. I know our whole team will answer any technical questions we can with information. And of course, our board members are more than happy to help you craft your voting response set bond. So with that said, I know we have a host of ABCD awards, and look at that list. This is fantastic. So President Wilson, thank you for that time, and I believe we're ready to launch into that.
So who will take us through the ABCD awards? Starts.
Well, I'm up first,
All right.
so I will lead us off. So the Above and Beyond the Call of Duty Awards, anyone can nominate a teacher or staff member for NPS. So a lot of these nominations come in from students. I will get started with the first one. Mr. Jackson Garland, I do not see him here. He's been nominated by 3 students. Mr. Garland is a social studies teacher at the high school. I'll paraphrase some of the wonderful things that students have said about Mr. Garland. Mr. Garland does a great job at thoroughly teaching complex topics while also creating a class environment that is inclusive and enjoyable. In his class, I always felt like my time and learning was valued. Whenever I asked questions, he made sure I understood before I walked away. His dedication to being a high school teacher in economics has inspired me to be like him when I am older. He always takes into account other things people have to do and struggles they may be experiencing. To us students, this means a lot because a lot of us may have issues at home affecting our learning, or we may be overwhelmed and stressed, and things like mental health days or fun activities in class all help make a difference. So thank you, Mr. Garland.
Okay, I have Ms. Garber, who is a physics teacher at the high school, and she was nominated by both a parent and a student, both regarding her honors physics class. The parent states that she teaches very well, and at the same time, she knows kids' strengths and approaches them with empathy. This characteristic is really needed for teenagers to progress. It is very rare to see this trait from many people. She not only made a big positive change in my child's life, she also made a parent happy. And the student says that she has a true passion for physics that I really appreciate. I nominated her because she seems to have a passion for teaching that I have never seen before. Because of her, my liking for science has grown tremendously, and I think she would be a great nomination for this award. I have to say, I always do this, but both my children have Ms. Garber this semester. So when I saw this one, I jumped right on it. I just want to echo what both these people said. So what an honor it is to have her in our district. So thank you, Ms. Garber.
Okay, I'm happy to fill in for Ms. Prescott today. I will be reading a nomination for Mr. Jacobs, who is a social studies teacher at Northville High School. Okay, hello. Thank you for being with us tonight. It is really an honor to have you with us. This is very special. So Mr. Jacobs, you were nominated by one of your students who says that Mr. Jacobs is truly one of the best teachers I've ever had. His classroom environment is supportive and encouraging, and he's always there to make sure you succeed. This student had Mr. Jacobs for both AP Gov and AP US History, and says his method of teaching in both has left me remembering the little things years later. Makes himself available over email and both before and after school. Student says, I never feel hesitant to ask for help in his classroom, which speaks volumes to the culture he has created. Mr. Jacobs also isn't afraid to challenge us either, which I think, according to the student, has helped me tremendously when taking difficult tests and classes. So thank you very much for all of your dedication to our students at Northville High School. There's a little.
Also a huge influence on our boys basketball program. And you had quite a week last week, so those notions of teachers who not only throw down in the classroom, but also give back to our kids in so many other ways. Thank you very much for that. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Okay, I am lucky enough to do Ms. Purcell. Is she here? No? Okay, well, I just have to say, and I think we can all understand why she would be nominated. She works the attendance office at the high school, okay? So I can only imagine. And I'm gonna read the whole thing. Ms. Purcell works at the attendance office at the high school, and there are many students, including myself, who have to stop by her office, often due to attendance circumstances. Ms. Purcell makes an effort to remember every student that comes by, even when she does not have to. She shows kindness and patience to students while continuing to follow every regulation when it comes to attendance. She has quickly become many students' favorite staff member and someone they feel comfortable talking to simply because of the kindness and positive attitude that she brings to NHS every day. Ms. Purcell always has a smile on her face and a great bond with the student body. That's wonderful. Thank you, Ms. Purcell.
Okay, I get the pleasure to introduce Miss Miller, who is our IB art teacher and ceramics teacher. And I was not surprised when this came into our packet that I've gotten the delight this year to know her through my daughter, who is really loving art, and it speaks volumes to how Miss Miller cares for her students. I think sometimes kids who feel a little quirky and maybe don't feel like they belong somehow land into Miss Miller's classroom, and so let me read on here. Miss Miller does everything she can to support her students both artistically and socially. She goes out of her way to make every student feel important, validated, and heard. Her courses are extremely well constructed and engaging. Ms. Miller is commonly referred to by her IB and long-term ceramic students as the school's art mom because of her incredibly supportive and kind attitude. She has been willing to share the joy of achievements and the weight of hardships with her students, offering herself as a safe space to talk to, positive or negative. That was by one student. Here's some comments by another student. She welcomes anyone into her blended seminar so they can work and chat freely. Her classroom acts as a safe space for me to take on my passions in art as much as I want to. I also think this is for sure an evidence-based piece that she is going above and beyond the call of duty, as she has a cabinet of snacks for students to take if they are feeling hungry or just want a snack to help them get through the day. When the student comes up to her proud of the piece they made, she praises them to boost their confidence in their abilities and therefore push them to improve their art skills. So thank you so much, Ms. Miller. This is really a delight to have you.
Oh, I should tell everybody, you should tell everybody next week is the IB art show.
So our IB art show starts Tuesday night. We're setting it up on Monday, and Allie's in it. It's just gonna be a wonderful show. I'll send out a PowerPoint in case you can't make it, but if you can, have everybody there.
So much time and dedication for you to pull that off.
It's fun. It's worth it. Thank you.
Thank you for providing a safe space for our kids to be. I think what we see, especially over I would say the past 5 to 7 years, is mental health issues and things like that tend to continue to grow. Oftentimes a place like an art room where they can express themselves under the guidance of somebody who can help them express themselves even better. And the food, did you also stock Capri Sun or anything like that? Because I know the youth like the Capri Sun.
Usually Oreo.
Oreo, the double stuff or single stuff?
All of that.
You might be seeing me tomorrow. Thanks.
All right, I think I am up next. The next one is for Greg Lanzi. I think he's here, yep. He was actually nominated by a colleague, so I will read out the name. Miss Ray Hepp nominated Mr. Lanzi. She says, Greg has been such an amazing help to me in so many ways. It has been a journey coming back to teaching in the middle school with this new orchestra program. He is so kind and patient. She does have a lot to say in here, so I am going to paraphrase it, but we will make sure you see it all. I'm so honored to have the opportunity to work with him at Hillside. Greg is an amazingly talented musician and an incredible music educator. So, thank you very much.
So Greg, what is your instrument of choice?
Trombone.
Trombone player, that's right. Love it.
Rehearsal tomorrow night.
And thank you in the same way, Ms. Miller. The arts and the fine arts are places that just allow students to express themselves and find joy in that. And being a community public school district, that's one thing that we're all very proud of, is that we feature opportunities for our kids that allow them to explore things like trombone or trumpet or what have you, and learn music and the joy of that language. So thank you.
I think you played maybe the Star Wars theme last week when you went to Ridgewood. My son came home and he said, I'm gonna play trombone, Mom, it's decided.
There it is. You gotta know your audience, right?
Okay, I have the next one for Ryan Sieg, who is a teacher at Meads Mill. And Ryan was nominated by a student. And the student says, Mr. Sieg has always been an amazing teacher. He would make class so much fun and we would learn so much. The student said one time she went up to him to say something and said, okay, I'm good. I don't need to tell you what I was gonna tell you. And then he invited her outside to say, what is it that you wanted to tell me? Tell me, is there something I need to know? And she said that, that there was a fly in his classroom or something. So it was really no big deal, but she found it to be funny and he found it to be funny. But then the student also shared that when her grandma was about to pass away, he made sure that everything was okay. He made sure that he didn't ask personal questions and made sure I was feeling okay in class. And I think that for teachers to have that capacity to catch someone when they have kind of a funny nonsense thing to say and also really make it a safe thing to talk about or not talk about when there's something so heavy in their life, it's really a gift. Such a dance. So thank you, Mr. Sieg, for all of your amazing capacity to support our students.
And last but not least, I have Lauren Bochard, who is the, can I say the last name right?
Portrait.
Okay. Who is, I'm sorry, I apologize. Who's is a kindergarten teacher at Ammerman, and I just think as a kindergarten parent, how important that first relationship is with your with the teachers in your elementary school. And this parent feels like they hit the jackpot with Miss Borchard as our son's kindergarten teacher. She is everything and more that you could ever want in a teacher. Every day when we send our son to school, we know that he's the best possible care with her. She truly loves all of her students like they are her own. More than that, she's incredibly supportive, kind to all parents, especially those who are sending their children to school for the first time. There is not another teacher quite like Miss Borchard, and we are so incredibly thankful that she's building the strongest education foundation for her son. We love Miss Borchard so much.
Thank you so much for those ABCD awards and congratulations to our winners. I mean, you really make a difference. It's obvious based on the testimonials that you heard. Thank you to all of you. Dr. Weber, does that conclude your report?
It does. Thank you, President Wilson.
Excellent, thank you so much. That takes us to our first of two opportunities for public comment. Anyone who wishes to make comment tonight or at any time with us has 3 minutes to do so. We're now doing these in person only, or at least for tonight, we're doing these in person only. So do we have anyone? I don't have any cards up here or any other indicators that we have folks in the public who would like to make comment, but now is your chance. Anyone? Your 3 minutes of fame are potentially starting now. No? All right. That concludes our first of two opportunities for public comment, bringing us to agenda item number 9, added agenda items. Dr. Weber, board members, Ms. Irving, any added agenda items?
Have none.
Excellent. That brings us very quickly to our second of two opportunities for public comment. Same rules apply. We will go once on those, going twice. That concludes public comment for the evening. That brings us to number 11, questions, comments from board members. Any discussion items or questions or comments?
I was just gonna say, the vote yes for NPS advocacy group is in action, and we're definitely excited to start sharing the news about our bond, that it's a really important piece of construction and infrastructure upgrades and technology upgrades and so many things that will support our foundation for academic excellence. So definitely want people to tune in to what we have coming out as far as information and the advocacy piece, and please continue to share the important news around that bond.
I've heard a ton of buzz already about the bond, and it's just we're just getting started, so that's great to see. And I appreciate that note, Dr. Cameron Boytel.
So, contributing to your comment on the bond, I had the great good fortune to be able to be among those present at the open house at the high school, and to be at the beginning of a very interesting journey that was being offered to the families who came with their kids as they toured, under the guidance of the high school students who were unbelievably well prepared. So I'm just gonna make some comments about what it meant to me as a first-time attendee to be able to participate. And one of my role was really to introduce the notion of the bond to people that were coming to the door. And I took their temperature basically in terms of understanding their readiness or their willingness to pause, because there was lots of eagerness to get going with, exploring the high school. But to a person, and those 125 families, I feel like I spoke to at least an adult 125 times. They were quite open and receptive and curious about the bond. So I think that is really, maybe a little bit of a hint that we have a receptive audience to hear more about what the future opportunities are for our district should the voters support this bond. And so I'm very encouraged by that, that little bit of experience that I had. The other thing I wanted to say is that I really think that Mr. Koski and his team that put together that entire sequence of events helped those NHS students get ready to be good tour guides, good navigators of their school, and to anticipate what kinds of questions the families and students would ask. They did an outstanding job. I had a lot of people who felt like they bonded with me on the way in, who felt they wanted to stop on the way out and tell me how impressed they were, and particularly with the job that the students did. So trying to give feedback to all of the work that went into that it was really meaningful. And our guests were happily satisfied with what they discovered about the wonderful high school and all of the opportunities there for their kids. And we had families who had 7th graders rising to 8th grade who were anticipating the transition, as well as students who were eager for their next grade year to start already. So it was wonderful. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So
we had 80 students, high school students as docents or tour guides for the building. It's really
80.
80.
They did a fabulous job.
To me, it shows I mean, it goes to prove why Tony Paskey is the Michigan Principal of
Oh,
the
yes,
Year,
thanks for
right?
mentioning that, yeah.
I mean,
It's
to
been a
assemble-
board member, not board meeting since it happened, have we?
No, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
I mean, that was
yeah.
such a special ceremony with
Yes,
him and just the culmination of our inclusion week across the district, just phenomenal. Just, yeah, I mean, and I know that that project is very near and dear to his heart, right? He has really
Clearly.
supported that for all of these years and.
But he had department heads sitting in the cafeteria, there was, the counseling staff was there, I mean, it was all hands on deck. There was a complete, commitment, I think, school-wide, and there was a lot of energy and incredible enthusiasm among our visitors, coming from both inside and outside the district, curious people thinking about buying a house, making a decision what house they were gonna buy, based on their experience as guests in our high school. So it was, I think also, Rebecca, you and the work with Katie to really open up the doors to people who are curious to learn about us, I think is coming back. I really do believe people had done their homework. They were marching in with intent when they came. So that's a really good sign. Anyway,
Yeah, I was gonna say, also with all of our ABCD awards, I think we were talking about just the explosion of interest in Northville and the excitement around ABCD awards and multiple nominations for, individuals and just across the staff. It's really awesome. So all of that communications effort is really paying off, so. Thank you.
I'll echo that. So I walked in Sunday afternoon with my somewhat nervous 8th grader, and it was a super welcoming environment. We had a ton of conversation time with folks here in the room, and it was really great to see that. The student tour guides were awesome. We went, was it scheduled 1 to 3? We went well past 3 o'clock. So thank you for that. So I can't thank the team enough for that. I mean, really to walk into an environment like that, and that's the kind of thing that makes that school smaller, I think, and that you, right, and feel, homey the way it is. I also want to thank the folks here. Everybody that could made it to night for Northville. I saw folks from staff there, folks on the board. That was a great turnout, great event. It's really nice to see that kind of collegiality, camaraderie, spirit, whatever the words are. So thank you for that, yeah.
So many people said it was their first time at night for Northville, and I thought, that's awesome. I was a first timer too, right? So it was really cool to hear from so many people like, oh, it's my first time here, and I had, it's a great time, great turnout, great space.
And then so many different groups were represented. Obviously the NEF, thank you to them, but it just seemed like the whole night I was running in folks from different sort of facets of the community, and it was really cool to see. So thank you for that. Any other questions or comments for board members? Actually, I do have one. This is sort of, Melissa, did you have one?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, okay. Just before I forget, so we did have some questions, I'd say stemming from our last meeting together, and just sort of, I guess, some wonderings, to steal Dr. Weber's word, about how to raise issues, right, and get on the agenda, essentially. And so my read, and I encourage you all to do the same, but I went through and I looked at the bylaws, and essentially what it boils down to, I think for me, is that Dr. Weber and I, or whoever's the president, sort of sit down and talk about the agenda. You are free, board members, Colt staff are free to raise issues with either of us. And then I think it gets a little bit grayer about, how we actually go about putting actual items on the agenda. But if you have issues or things, ideas, I hope you will feel free to raise them. And my commitment is to get them through whatever process as quickly as possible. So that's just a little bit about process in terms of getting on the agenda. I do think we have a slightly different process when it comes to parking lot items on our cow agendas or standing cow agendas. And I think we need Jim probably here to give a little bit more on the history or kind of the spirit of that. But my understanding is that historically that's been sort of somebody raises an idea for the parking lot and then it's seconded. Frankly, I don't really know what the difference is between a parking lot item and a to-be agenda item. I think we should all give some thought to that. I appreciate what you might have to think about that, but that is my sense on getting ideas in front of all of us. And I encourage you to have ideas, to bring them to us. And my commitment is to get them run to ground and to figure out where the rest of the board sits on issues and to get together and get things done. So that's just sort of my take on it. I'm open to other ideas as well. I'm sorry, Melissa, that I've jumped in.
No, all I was gonna ask was, you brought up the IB art show and I didn't hear when it was. Can you
It actually
tell
runs,
the group? when?
yeah, it runs for 3 weeks, I believe.
Okay.
My 16-year-old is not great with details.
Okay.
I don't know for sure.
What 16-year-old doing this?
But my understanding is that they start installing it at the Northville Art House on Monday.
Got it.
And then the kids are there presenting, I think, on Tuesday to the community. And then their art will be displayed, I believe it's for 3 weeks. But yes, my daughter will be one of the students featured, and Siri is alerting me of that, I guess. But I think, yeah, it's really exciting to see just the depth that they explore in terms of like even how they explain how they came up with their art pieces. And I'm just watching it for the first time as a parent in terms of what does it look like, but I think it's gonna be, they can use whatever medium comes to mind. They've got, I don't know, maybe 10 pieces each, and then kind of a narrative for each piece. So it's for real stuff.
One of my very favorite things to do is to go to the IB art show. No matter what school you're in or what district you're in, the level of creativity our kids have and the mediums they use, power in it and how they communicate, what they're telling us as adults in their world is worth all of our time. And of course, be sure to drop by Lisa's child's, and I don't know if you can put a little star on it or something like that.
But we have the
Proud
same
mom.
last name, it'll be easy to.
So proud mom, right? But definitely, if we can pump that out there, and perhaps Katie can put that out there a little bit more. Yeah, it's great.
And so the way the IB art works too, that I'm learning, everything is new to me, is there's first year and second year students. So some of them will have, they'll be displaying their second year of IB art. That's what you just explained. So, sorry, my school.
Oh, no. This is just amazing, the level of talent in what has been expressed that I've seen is just, it shows you how deep, how powerful our kids are, and frankly, how much more we need to listen to them.
All right, any other questions or comments? Feel free. All right, thank you for that. That brings us to number 12 on our agenda, our closed session motion. Before we have this presented, do we have to roll call this one, or?
Yeah, that's
We
a good
do.
idea.
Okay, we'll roll call this one. And then for folks in the public, we will likely be adjourning to closed session. I think that's in another room. And then we will be coming back to adjourn, but there will not be much, I'll give you the cut to the chase here. There will not be anything really, I don't anticipate substantively that we'll be discussing after we come back from closed session. Some number of us will be coming back to adjourn, and that is really it. So I want to set expectations for whoever remains here in the public tonight. So, Ms. McIntyre, would you present the motion, please?
I'd like to bring forth motion 89 that the board convene in closed session pursuant to Public Act 267 of the Open Meetings Act under Section 8C negotiations. As presented.
So I have a motion properly presented by Ms. McIntyre and supported by Ms. Stewart. Dr. Campbell-Boytel, would you please take a roll call vote on this, or a roll vote?
Yes, Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. McIntyre,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Stewart,
Yes.
and myself, Campbell Patel.
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. So that motion passes. We will be adjourning to closed session here at 7:06. And we will be coming back to adjourn, but that will be it. Thank you.
Feel better?
I'm sorry. It's like,
There was not, 4 weeks ago, there was some.
Pretty much.
It's been fairly quiet, so I hope you're not the first.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we are back and we will call us adjourned at 9 p.m.
Sometimes I go back to that version.
Take this.
All right.
We're on, right? Are we over now?